What's up, everybody? I'm back with another movie review, continuing with the aftermath of the Shrek marathon. This is Shrek the Third. It was released back in 2007 and is widely regarded as the worst out of the four Shrek movies. Actually, regarded as one of the more shittier movies of this time. And I had seen it for the first time. It was actually, fun fact, the first movie that I ever saw in the theaters, which I think was really nice. It was more, they heavily marketed this one just like the second one, but it did not get as big of a box office appeal. Not even close. In this movie, I watched it for the first time in a long time in full recently, and wow, this one was actually really hard to sit through. And we're gonna break all that down. But yeah, it was the first movie that I ever saw back in the theaters. I was 4 at the time. And I remember we couldn't even sit through the whole thing because I was just not liking being in the theater for some reason. I was 4, so that's probably why. But maybe it was because the movie was that bad. Me, 4-year-old me, said, "Hey, this movie sucks. Don't leave. Just throw a tantrum. Leave. We do not want to be here no more." But I sat through it this time. Didn't throw a tantrum, though I really wanted to. This movie was horrible. First off, it doesn't follow like the same structure that made Shrek 1 and 2 successful. They definitely, the one thing they did do was more product placements. I talk about Starbucks. There's a lot of Starbucks product placements in here. They do a post office product placement, very, very strong product placement of both of those. They continue that from the second movie because it's still set in never far, far away land or whatever. But it does not really follow the same structure as the second and the first movie. The music they choose is not as good. Where they choose it, they choose to put it in completely different places that just do not fit. The jokes they choose are absolute cringe. Like they chose a lot of the Shrek jokes, I should mention, are like fart jokes and poop jokes and barf jokes and shit like that, right? Meant for kids, because it's a kids movie. They did a little bit of that, but like not really. They did a couple. They did one that was really funny. It was Shrek was getting his butt scratched, and the audience looks at him weird. That was really the big one out of them, I remember. And then there was another one where the gingerbread man shit a gumdrop. I don't know why. That made me laugh so hard. I don't know why. I have just a very screwed up sense of humor, guys. Okay, I can laugh at stuff like that. It's okay. It's okay as long as you don't do it yourself. Don't shit gumdrops, people. Okay. And I mean, they play off of Ghostbusters with like the giant gingerbread guy and how he tries to fight. Doesn't even really do anything. Kind of just gets them to the main. Gets them to get the guy. They make this big gingerbread man from the bakery, right? And he gets them to the gate, to the final part of the movie, but doesn't actually get in the gate. They like break his arms off and he drowns in the water. Like, what's the point of even having make that guy? It doesn't actually do anything to the characters at the end of the movie. It doesn't. But you know what? Whatever. It works out just fine, I guess. And the enemy was very weak in this movie. I will say the enemy was very, very weak. Because it was Prince Charming again, but this time he wasn't the side enemy to the fairy godmother. He was the main enemy because the fairy godmother died in the second movie. So I might be getting my movies mixed up actually because the gingerbread guy happened in the second movie actually. So whoopsies. That's what happens when you marathon all 4, wait 3 hours, and then actually do the reviews of them. But like, and then he uses like, and then there's like then there's this 15-year-old kid, right, that they pick up out of a Hogwarts looking school, right? They rip off Harry Potter with flying brooms and Hogwarts in a school, right? And they pick up this like 15-year-old kid, and he's supposed to be the king because Shrek is too lazy to actually want to be the actual king, right? Because the dad dies at the beginning of the movie, which was there was a very, very should not be funny plot point. It's like, knocked, somebody better be dying, and then the dad died. Oh man, They didn't need to do that. They didn't need to do him dirty like that. Holy moly. But then they're like, they want to start a family, and then they're like, oh, Shrek's too lazy to start a family. He doesn't want to do that. You know, that was kind of the premise of it. And they want somebody else to take his king so that he doesn't have to be because he's too lazy. He wants to go back to his swamp. The kid's voiced by Justin Timberlake, which was not... It was a weird choice for a voice actor. I mean, it worked, but it was just a weird choice for an actor for a Shrek movie, I think. Especially since he didn't do any singing. It was 2007, right? And Justin Timberlake's like on top of the world. At least let him sing. Come on now. None of the jokes really, not a lot of the jokes really hit, though. There were a few in the beginning, like I mentioned, that hit pretty good. And then throughout the movie, it just became harder and harder to watch. It was a lot of cringe stuff. They really tried something new in this movie, and it flopped. Which sucks, you know, but I guess they were bound to flop at some point. They hit gold with the first two. They are eventually gonna crash and burn and whatever. As it happened in this movie. But yeah, for this movie's final score, probably gonna have to give it a 5 or 6 out of 10. That might be generous. I can't say it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I've seen worser movies. I've seen the Emoji Movie. I've seen Shark Tale. I've seen Cars 2. It's not as bad as Cars 2. A little bit better. Just a slight hair better. Mainly because the first half is kind of where everything, all the quote-unquote gold hits. My God. I mean, if you have to watch this movie, do. I just get the diecast. I tried to find the NASCAR diecast that were made for this movie. And call it a day after that. Don't watch this movie if you don't have to, okay? If it's the only thing you got to do, I guess watch it, but be prepared. Be prepared. Have the off button handy just in case. That's going to do it for this movie review, guys. Got one more in this Shrek stuff, more movie reviews. I stay tuned for much more amazing content as well. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Goodbye.